Everyone looks pretty down this evening.
Wish the rain would stop. You're all doing great. We must be almost at the end of this nightmare.
I'm so hungry.
Why are you already still not gount. What is the word? You're shriveled. There we go.
Me too.
You are too. We wish everyone a good night and get ready for bed. What do I do? You go to bed with a growling stomach. You have a strange dream. A boy is yelling at you in the kitchen. You keep telling him to lie down on the tray. But he keeps shaking his head, calling you names. So you do it. You lie down on the tray and make your body as flat as a board. You show him how it's done. His anger turns to courage. And he pushes you into the, what? What? As a stench of burning hair fills your lungs, you see him sneering back at you. You wake in a cold sweat. What the? I'm so lost. Everyone seems to be sleeping later than normal. Their stomachs must have kept them awake all night. The rain is still pouring outside. You can barely make out the trees from the windows. Your hair is stirring up blankets, arms and legs. Marie looks petrified.
I couldn't sleep.
Anatoly has bags under his eyes.
The storm's too loud.
Karen looks out of it. Oh.
Cabin was squeaking so much last night. It sounded alive.
Grigor looks a little gaunt. Oh, it was gaunt. I got it right.
I got a good look out the window.
And?
Couldn't see anything due to the rain.
Don't smile at that.
Great observation, Grigor. I was so hungry last night. I kept pacing around my bed.
Why would you use energy? Karen turns to you.
When is this going to end?
I checked outside the door again. Floodwaters keep rising. Fortunately, we're going to need to stay put unless one of us wants to drown in rainwater.
As soon as the weather lets up, we'll be able to scavenge for supplies.
How close is the nearest town?
I don't know.
Didn't you have a map on you?
I think I dropped it while running after Grigor. Wait, what? Why didn't you say this earlier?
I'm sure it'll show up eventually.
Maria and Anatoly go white as a sheet.
How are we going to find our way back now?
Well, after Riot Storm,
Maria looks at you.
We're down to our last slice of bread. I don't know how much longer we can put off eating.
The group stares at you. Well, we can go a week without eating. I think. It will clear up in no time.
Maybe you're right.
The group looks worried. They all gravitate to an area. You can tell Grigor is putting on a fake optimism and Marie is having trouble. Which one do you want to speak with today? Oh, it's between those two. Marie, I have 2 hearts. With Grigor, I don't. Let's go Grigor. I'm gonna make everyone my friend, and this will be fine.
Oh, hey. I know you already searched the kitchen, but I had to double check.
A fool's errand.
I wish everyone was in better spirits. Can't rain forever, right?
Rainfall in this area can last days to weeks. You tell Grigor to stay strong.
You know what? Thank you. The group is really thankful for your kindness.
Grigor blushes a little bit.
I always wanted to be the one that kept everyone in good spirits. But it's obvious you do that much better.
Grigor is looking at you fondly. You're sure Grigor will remember this. Cool. Alright, 2 hearts. Alright. The rain is pounding hard against the wooden cabin. But at least none of it is getting inside. You tell Grigor to keep his spirits up and join the others. You call everyone together, they look grim. You could cut the tension in the room with a knife. Everyone is staring at you. They're expecting that last piece of bread for dinner. Bring it out, everyone cannot take their eyes off of it. You instruct everyone to take a pinch, and slowly all 5 of you tear it apart like a wishbone. Everyone studies their piece of bread carefully, wondering how long it will last. Karen is the first to eat hers. She chews each bite a few hundred times before swallowing. Anatoly chews it cautiously, opening his mouth once he finishes each bite. Marie nibbles on it silently, eyes wide, moving from person to person. And Grigor just pops it in his mouth like a cherry. It was gone in an instant. Great. Wish I had that mouse. Group thanks you awkwardly. It's not much, but you've run out of options. Wish everyone good night and get ready for bed. You go to bed starving. Good morning.
Morning.
Let me check if the rain has stopped. It's still flooding.
What are we going to do?
Humans can live about 2 to 3 weeks without food. Water isn't a concern.
Rainfall should end in a day or two, right?
Actually, precipitation can occur more than 215 days a year. But do you really think it will rain that long? Anatoly, it's been days already. What makes you think it will stop soon? Ugh.
Relax, everyone. Let's see how long we can ride this out. Fingers crossed it's done by tomorrow.
Panic is slowly creeping in. Everyone's looking scared, but you need to survive. Karen and Grigor begin to discuss next options. Do you want to speak with Maria in the kitchen or Anatoly in the living room? Instead, dedicate your time to how you've doomed everyone? How's that gonna help? Marie's in the kitchen, right? Talk to Marie, I guess. Hey. Marie looks relieved to see you. Oh. That was easy. Like, easier than before. How are you holding up? Better question, how are you holding up? Not very good. That's very sweet of you to ask. Marie looking at you intently. He gets a little closer to you. I noticed you didn't use any meat when cooking. Usually I have to pick it out of the foods the others make. But you respected that. Thank you. Marie is looking at you with admiration. I need to speak with Grigor for a minute, but thanks again. Cool. You're definitely sure Marie will remember that. Oh, okay. Damn. I'm maximizing this relationship. You decide to check out the drawer again. I will eat you guys, I swear. Wait, what? You ask Potato where the others are.
They'll be back. They want to explore the labyrinth of tunnels around the cabin? Surely you've seen the mouse holes, right? They connect all over the cabin. Must have been some mouse that created them or something worse. Anyways, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Things are going to get worse from here on out.
You have a feeling Potato is telling the truth. You realize some drool is leaking out of your mouth.
Disgusting. Don't even try to eat me.
You just get deathly sick if you tried, and from the look of you, you need to retain all the water you can. From rationing to cooking, you failed every common sense measure for basic survival this week. You knew something like this would happen, right? Never mind. With floodwaters rising and no food now, I think it'd be a great time to go over the fundamentals of starvation with you. When experiencing starvation, there are 4 factors that will determine if you live or die. Age, height, weight, and your degree of activity or inactivity. You've been especially lazy, so I think you'll survive a little longer than the others. The Harris-Benedict equation can help you figure out how many calories you need to simply maintain your current weight. The equation produces a number called the basal metabolic rate, or BMR. Stay with me here. Oh my god. Got it? No, but sure. For fun, let's try it out. Someone here, Maria. Using Harris-Benedict, she looks like she's about 120 pounds, about 5 feet, 5 inches tall, about 20 years old. Crunching the numbers, I think she'd need about 1,388 calories daily, but that's being abnormally stationary. She'd have to lay in bed all day and night just eating, breathing, and using her brain. Not that very common when you're starving to death. People tend to get up more. If she was being very active, let's say swimming through flooded waters, we need to multiply. Oh my god. So now she needs. Oh my god. That's quite the difference, especially if you didn't ration the food properly, which you didn't. I guess that wraps up our first survival lesson. Hopefully we'll never have to speak again. Okay. Shut the drawer, going over the numbers again. What?
I don't think any of us take this any longer.
Rigor's voice starts to crack.
I don't want to ask this, but it's time. One of us needs to go outside and search for food.
Everyone is silent.
I'll go. Maria! I used to swim all the time near my house, so I probably have the best chance of swimming through the floodwaters. No! Let me go instead.
You won't get very far if anything happens to your glasses, Anatoly.
You're blind as a mole rat, remember? That's true, but...
Little guy, let me go.
Rigorai. Sounds good to me. Karen!
His arms are definitely the longest, so he'd probably be the best at climbing trees out of all us.
No, that wouldn't be right, Grigor. Let me go instead.
I get that none of these options are good ones, but we need to find food or help.
Grigor grabs a branch from the wood pile. He cuts it into different measurements.
Since we can't come to a consensus, let's draw for it. We'll each pick one from my hand, and the shortest will go outside to search for food.
You're not worried about drawing. You saw Grigor cut the branch lengths. You can tell which is the biggest one of the bunch. You pick it, watch the others intently. Will it be Grigor? Anatoly? Karen? Will it be
Looks like I've got the shortest. Maria.
Maria.
It's okay. I watched Anatoly forage earlier, so I'll know what to look out for. Just swim until you find higher...
Just swim till you find higher ground, and scout the area.
Maybe you'll find a fish out there?
Everyone looks heartbroken. Karen, Anatoly,
Grigor, I'll keep us alive. I promise.
She promised. Everyone watches as Maria leaves the cabin. The silence is deafening.
Goodbye.
Is this because she was the highest relationship, or is this just how it works? The door shuts behind her. You can faintly hear her yell about how cold the water is, and then silence. Maria has left the cabin. Yikes. I'm sure we'll see her again. The rest of the group nods. Everyone stays up, waiting and waiting. The sun is completely set. One by one, each person shuffles off to bed. You get ready for bed and easily pass out. You have a strange dream. The two women in front of you could be twins. One of them you recognize, the other is a guest. You ask the guest to sit on the shovel, and then you try pushing it into the oven. Her legs are so strong you can't get her into the oven. Curse at her repeatedly. Like this, you hiss. Stretch out your legs until your toes are almost sticking in the coals. You feel 4 hands on your shoulders and push... Is this like Hansel and Gretel? The familiar smell of smoke and burning hair cause you to throw up on the embers. You can't let it end like this. You rip the metal door off the oven, tearing through the wood logs of the cabin. Screaming, you chase the two through the woods. Your burns chill with the wind. Guest looks behind her, and her eyes widen when she sees you. She's terrified. Your fury rips trees out by their roots, soil from the ground, rocks from their pits. You've never been this angry in your entire life. Their stamina can't last forever. You're gaining on them. As you trample through the field of wheat, the guest throws a piece of cloth behind her. You catch the glint of it in the sun, golden. As if by magic, the earth splits in front of you, creating a chasm of fire below. You fall into the pit, screaming. Your eyes begin to sizzle from the heat. Hellfire fills your lungs. You're unable to scream anymore. You wake in a cold sweat. Jeez, my nightmares are very dark. This is bad.
Good morning. Do you think she made it to higher ground?
I believe it, Maria. Me too.
She'll be fine. Right, little guy.
So what do we do now? Just wait?
Karen,
How long? It's been almost a day since she left.
Anatoly and Grigor look nervous.
Someone needs to go look for her.
We need to wait, Karen.
Wait for what?
The nearest town is miles and miles away.
Waiting is all we can do for now. So it could be days before she gets back. What are we supposed to eat? Mice?
Probably.
Karen, I'm sure Anatoly will agree, but we'll discuss next options when we get to it. Every waking thought is about food now. I never would have eaten that much.
I'm...
Karen's hands are involuntarily shaking. Grigor and Anatoly just nod in agreement. They don't even need her to elaborate. You're sure Maria will be back? She promised. Everyone retreats to their areas. What do you want to do today? Talk with Karen, I guess.
Hey. You don't have to lie to me. I know Maria's not coming back. I don't know where she came up with her being the best swimmer. Guess the only one that would know would be Anatoly. Last summer, Anatoly would watch her swim from the shore. He could have been a lifeguard, such a good swimmer. He never went under, but if she did, he would have pulled her out easily. Why would she lie about something like that?
Karen seems deep in thought. Maybe it's better to leave her alone. Close the door softly.
I can't stop thinking about that vegetable stew.
It'd be fine with the bread and jam. It'd be fine with the strawberries.
Nobody else laughs.
I would kill for some vegetables right now.
You would too.
I'm going to try and get some sleep. Good night.
Night.
You fall asleep quickly. You only dream about desecrating a corpse. You wake in a cold sweat, in a completely different room. Wait, what?
Good morning.
Karen's looking worse. Will you cook for the group today? You take out a cutlet of meat and begin to cook it in the oven. You cooked meat.
Where did you get that?
You ignored Karen's question.
What's that smell?
Grigor finally gets off the couch.
Where did you...
Three are looking at you, salivating. You take the charred meat out of the oven, cutting into the small cutlets. They immediately grab some off the plate, chewing ferociously. You take a piece and immediately devour it.
Do you have any more of this?
You explain how the meat is stored securely hidden so you can ration better this time.
I understand.
Thank you.
Until he runs to the bathroom, puking in the toilet. You can hear him sobbing for a few minutes.
This taste is...
Grigor wanders off. Anatoly returns looking choked up.
I was too weak. Left you some meat. Don't fight this, Anatoly.
Anatoly takes a cut from the plate, turning his back to the group as he devours it. You can hear him crying. Finally, my focus is coming back. I'm going to read some of those books. Keep them occupied, okay? Aaron leaves you with the men. Who do you want to talk to? Anatoly. Anatoly? You slowly open the door? Thanks for checking in on me. You asked if he still feels sick. Not anymore. I think it was a mental thing. Please don't tell me where the meat came from. The less known, the better. You nod. Thank you. You're sure Anatoly will remember that? Oh boy. You leave Anatoly and go tidy up some parts of the kitchen. Hours pass. The meal gave everyone the perseverance to keep going. Eating will just make them hungrier. They're fine now, but soon they'll be begging for more. We've waited long enough. What's for dinner? You calmly explain that you want to ration the meat better this time, and there'll be no dinner. Fine.
I understand.
Guess I'd rather eat tomorrow than more today.
No argument's perfect. Oh, God. Everyone decides to call it an early night. You fall asleep instantly tonight. You have a strange dream. You're having dinner with a blacksmith, but he's not touching his food. The only light in the room comes from the oven. He clears his throat, stroking his beard.
I could forge anything, he says.
Your eyes has been giving you issues lately, so you reply.
Forge me a new eye, then.
You laugh, but then the ropes come out. He ties you to your chair with a long rope to prevent you from struggling. You rip the rope apart without even trying, so the blacksmith uses a thicker rope. No turning back now. He takes a hot poker out of the coals. Holding it in the front of his face, you can see his beard and eyes watching you. He slowly brings back the poker, aiming carefully for your eye, or plunging it through your skull with a sickening crunch. The force of the blow throws you backwards a few feet. You're unable to break the ropes. You vomit all over your chest. As the smell of your decimated eye floods your nostrils, the blacksmith stands over you, spitting on your body. You wake in a cold sweat. You wake up to see Grigor looking out the window. He turns to you, not smiling.
Take a look at the window. Do you notice anything?
The floodwaters have receded a little bit, but everyone is still bound to the cabin. Rail used to be completely visible.
It's gone.
Good morning, big guy.
Will Marie make it back?
This might sound a little crazy, but every night around 2 a.m. I can hear her outside. She makes this awful gurgling noise like she's trying to get out of the water, out of her lungs. Have you heard her, Grigor?
Sometimes when the rain gets faint, I think I can hear her whispering.
I haven't heard anything like that. When she's whispering, it's like she's trying to tell you something, right?
Oh, God.
Yes.
I sometimes hear her crying through the radio. But that's just a broadcast.
Right?
Oh, God. I think we should have another piece of meat for breakfast. One step closer to Maria. It's what she would have wanted.
What's gotten into you, Anatoly?
Anatoly's eyes look at you, begging. Bring us another slab. Please. He clearly doesn't have the stomach for it.
I can't get the taste out of my mouth. Please help me. Anatoly.
Grigor looks pained at Anatoly's words.
I think he's right. Please bring us more of that meat.
Grab some of the meat from your secret hiding place. Cut it into squares, adding into the boiling cauldron water. It will taste bland without any seasoning, but you need to serve it right away. What's taking so long? What the fuck is going on? Boil it faster. Looks almost done, Patience. It's finally finished. You serve the meat in bowls. Rigor drinks the broth first before swallowing the chunks whole, like a duck does when eating bread. Anatoly creates ripples in the broth using the spoon. He isn't eating. I'm sorry about earlier, everyone. I don't know what overtook me. Maria. Anatoly begins to weep. You look over at Karen. You didn't notice her even start to eat. There's just an empty bowl now. Karen is staring right at you.
How much more meat is left?
You explain how most of it has gone bad. This is the last of it.
How could you be so careless again?
You remember Karen's knife. You need to think fast.
What the hell are we supposed to do now? Wait around again? The storm isn't ending.
You clear your throat. Anatoly?
Yes?
I think tomorrow you should look for Maria. Or forage for plants outside.
Hi.
I think you should go tomorrow, little guy. Nobody else can identify edible plants like you.
Hi.
Please, Anatoly. You can swim back after a few hours.
Rigor is right, Anatoly.
Maybe you'll find Maria out there. I think Maria's fine by herself.
He still hasn't accepted what happened yet.
She doesn't need anyone's help.
We need your help, Anatoly.
That's right, Anatoly. Please, help us.
Let me sleep on it. Okay?
No problem, little guy.
Oh boy. Everyone shuffles off to the bedroom, reading books and knitting to pass the time. You go to the bed ravenous. Maria. Something is approaching.
Onion! Hey! Don't be a quiet baby, it's just me. Onion! Not going to be very sweet today. I'm worried about Anatoly. He's going to cave to peer pressure. Can you stop him from leaving the cabin?
You don't answer, Onion.
Please? Don't you trust me?
Shake your head.
Got a fun fact I have for you. Did you know that leaving out an unappealing onion in your room absorbs bacteria? It will help prevent colds and ward off viruses. That was a lie. The fun factoid of the myth. People actually believed in the 1500s. How embarrassing.
Who would believe that?
There even was a doctor in 1919 who caught the surge of people believing it. Anyways, you know what smells like raw onion left in a room? You! Been a while since your last bath, right? You can't remember.
Oh, that was me.
Could smell you before I even came into your room. Onion! Yikes! So, can you stop Anatoly from leaving? I know he has cabin fever, but this is ridiculous. It would be impossible to stop a grown man from leaving. Please?
We don't need another one stalking the hallways. What? Tapping on the windows. Crying through the radio. You have the sudden urge to scream.
Why do you think I've been using the mouse holes to get around? Scared to death I'll run into her. Don't make me tie out the carriage about you. She can be as mean as potato if you get on your backside. Just kidding, she's great. Anyways, when the time comes to tell Anatoly you care about him and don't want him to leave. Even if it's for me, okay? You can trust me. Now, if you excuse me, I need to work on some new ice skates. I made a butter slices, so I'll get to ski around the frying pan tomorrow. Later.
Does that mean you're accepting that you will be eaten? Your mind finally manages to forget everything that happened. You fall asleep again, still ravenous. Jesus. You have a strange dream. I'm getting a lot of those recently. A fox is collecting payment in your living room. You despise him, so you put 2 dogs at the bottom of the sack, then add 6 chickens on top. The fox smiles at you and leaves. At some point in his journey, the fox will eventually open the sack, and the dogs tear the fox in half. Filled with such loathing for the fox, you gave him the only things you had for food. All of those chickens. As the snow piles up outside, you begin to eat whatever you can find. Pillowcases, candles, leather. One day you wake up and you have nothing left to eat. Absolutely nothing. Just an insatiable hunger. A few days later, you go mad and leave the cabin completely ravenous. Nearby tree looks like a charred meat. Your iron teeth cut through the tree bark, tearing your gums apart by the splinters. Your mouth fills quickly with blood. Days later, a deer gallops by. First creature in the woods to see your corpse. You wake in a cold sweat. That one didn't give me an image. Something smells terrible in the living room. Someone puked in the corner. You wipe it up with a rag to save them the embarrassment.
Good morning.
Good morning, little guy.
Well, Anatoly, what's your decision? I barely slept last night.
Her whispers came through one of the holes in the floor.
She kept telling me to come outside.
We don't want to rush you, but one of us puked last night.
So that's what that smell was. Anatoly, the patience is wearing thin. You have 1 hour to make a decision.
Why so quickly?
Because I'm not waiting any longer. You can see the glint of Karen's knife under her dress. Best to watch out for that knife. Oh god, of course she had a knife. The group disperses, tension seems to be rising. You have 1 hour to kill. Why'd you have to use that word? What do you want to do?
I don't know. I don't know if I can actually...
I'm gonna talk with the Choppities. I haven't talked to them in a while. I kinda need to. I think. None of the fun Choppities are around. Thankfully, Potato was kept hidden this entire time.
And nothing can recall our own but death. And that's more mother of the barren earth, which serves as a place to cover for your bones. Oh, so I didn't see you creeping behind me. I was reciting my favorite line from William Shakespeare. Do you know which play it was from?
It wasn't the one with the weird sisters. You take a wild guess.
That's right. The Life and Death of King Richard II. Before I came to the cabin, I used to read all of the classics. Why I stop? I can't turn the page with just my tongue. Hell, I can't even nudge a book off the bookshelf. Pathetic, right?
You nod.
Yeah. I've been watching your progress so far. And I must say, very strange choices. Even for someone like you. I wonder why you're so accommodating for those four. Pity I didn't receive the same treatment. Oh well. Excuse my ramblings. Are you here for another survival lesson?
You shrug.
Excellent. No shame in preparing for the absolute worst. Ahem.
36 hours have passed, you have no food. What happens? For starters, your brain stops craving glucose. But there's good reason for that. Your guts have been shrinking. And your livers have transformed fatty acids into chemical compounds called ketone bodies. Have I lost you already? There's a book on the bookshelf that can explain all of this. Anyways. Ketone bodies make glucose for the brain and provide about 2/3 of the energy needed to function. Sounds pretty great, right? Oh, my sweet summer child. Using ketone bodies gradually acidifies your blood, which can lead to ketosis. It's common in diabetics. How do you know if you have it? Well, a large amount of acetone is released in your urine and respiratory system. Your breath will smell something like fingernail polish, which smells like... I can't remember, no one knows the smell now. But looking at your face, I bet your breath smells much worse. Only the Choppities has something nice to say about you. Here, have another recipe card. You unlocked Potato's recipe. Wait. Potato gives pause. You received a recipe you should never try, is what the achievement said. I personally wouldn't make it.
But you? You have taste for things like this, don't you?
You don't argue.
Let's talk again, shall we? I wouldn't be leaving here if I had 2 days to go exploring right now.
You shut the drawer and call everyone together for a meeting.
Anatoly, you okay, little guy?
Anatoly looks pale, like he's going to pass out.
Anatoly, have you made a decision?
Yes. I'll help you all out. I promise.
Thank you, Anatoly.
Big tears roll down Grigor's cheeks.
I'll miss you, big guy. I'll miss you, little guy.
Oh, that was...
Thank you, Anatoly. No, this wasn't easy, but it's for the best.
Can I stop him? Can I stop him like the Choppities one? I want to stop him, please, please.
Karen. Yes?
Grigor looks at you expectantly. Did you want to say anything to Anatoly? You say nothing. What?
Hi. Goodbye, Anatoly. Goodbye, everyone.
Good luck, little guy.
Anatoly has left the cabin.
Fuck!
See you soon, little guy.
I guess all we can do now is wait. Good night.
Karen goes to the bedroom to sleep.
I didn't tell him the truth.
Grigor is getting choked up.
I didn't tell him. Missing him already.
Grigor curls up on the couch for the night, turning his back to you. Shut your eyes quickly, falling asleep. You hear a scraping from the floor.
Found you. You explain how
You explain how this isn't a good time right now.
This is no laughing matter. I'm worried about Grigor. He's as tall as a tree, but as dumb as a brick. What's the root of that? Another cornbread classic. You're being very unpopular right now. That's a tree reference, get it? Anyways, you need to protect Grigor from the red-haired woman. Cabbage called an emergency Choppet meeting and told me to give you this mission.
Watch out for that knife and protect Grigor at all cost.
Understood?
Yes. You nod.
Is the least you can do, right?
You tell Brett that pun didn't make sense.
On a roll today. I'll see you around.
Brett hops away, squeezing himself through the mouse hole with a small pop. Fall asleep thinking about what Brett told him. You have a strange dream. It's lying on the table in front of you. You take off the glasses first, partially cracked, and set them down next to the wood workbench. Working on the saw, you wrap the cuts in old newspaper. Some of it gets soggy immediately, so you begin drying the cuts with towel before wrapping. Much better. Here's something approaching as you clench a fist and get ready to strike whatever's coming for you. You wake in a cold sweat. Oh boy. Oh boy.